money because there's with more listings, things are going to sit on the market and stuff there longer. And so, our guest today, like, man, we hit it off after Jeff and Kelly had introduced me to him. But Paul Frank is a seasoned commercial real estate developer, contractor, broker with nearly 4 decades of experience, right? He's been doing this since the 1980s at this point in time. He's developed and brokered millions of square feet of real estate internationally across the US. And I wanted him to come on here to give us like a snapshot. For those of you that are going to Cabo, he'll be down in Cabo. He'll be on stage. Like I vetted this guy and looked at like, okay, so how can we add value to our group? And he's like, well, man, like I guarantee you, your agents are leaving money on the table. And I was like, we hate leaving money on the table. So Paul Frank, unmute your mic, my friend. And how are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got
Perfect.
you, man. We appreciate you being here. I know that everybody has a lot on their plate, but this is a special group. We've been running this for, man, I think going on 6 years now and stuff here. And so this is a group of some of the top producing agents across the country and stuff right now. So thrilled to have you on here with us. I gave a little snapshot, but like tell everybody a little bit more about yourself if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, well, and best part of my day, I guarantee it. It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate the opportunity. So like you said, my background, 40 plus years in commercial development and brokerage. Had my own brokerage for 35 plus years. 9 years ago, got chased by this guy, Brent and Joey. For 5 years, I told him to leave me alone. I was the last person on the planet that was going to buy into this nonsense. And about 4.5 years ago, I had this moment of clarity and asked a few more questions. And it's 4 years ago, December 1st, I moved over to EXP commercial. And it has been, as I say, the best 3 years of my career by far, because that first year was a little difficult. I didn't know it, but EXP commercial was brand new at the time. So I sort of dug in and helped them solve some of the problems. And it's been all up, gravy since then. Wonderful experience. I wouldn't know you, Larry, or any of the people I do across the country and the world now. It's pretty bizarre how my career has morphed as a result of this platform.
Yeah, it's really like the amount of leaders that are coming over like yourself, right? Like leaders in the industry, and then the collaboration, especially since kind of co-sponsorship, right? Like that has changed the game for our group to work more with the Brent Goves, to work more with the Jake Hinder, people that traditionally like we almost had to compete with per se, right? Like, oh, you like Paul Frank on the commercial side, but Larry does the REOs. Like, which one do I pick? Now it's like, no, you can have all of this, right? Like, what is going to put the best tools in your pocket to be able to set you up for success and stuff? So it's been a beautiful journey and blessed to have yourself and other people like yourself here. So how are we going to add value to the group and stuff here today?
And like you said, Brent has me, I think, an hour and a half on some of this content. But so I'll kind of give you a brief introduction to it. One of the things that I coach is, and you'll see coach in my name. One of the things that I did not say is that I coach sports for 25 plus years, and COVID ended my coaching career one afternoon because our lovely governor shut the world down, not because I got it. And I never stepped foot on a field again. But as timing would have it, it sort of morphed into the real estate training side of it. And, one of the interesting things that I didn't realize, I was the number one agent in the world for EXP commercial last year, but I was also mentor of the year. So apparently there's not a lot of people that actually do stuff and coach. And I think I have like 45 mentees across the country. But the important aspect of that, 45 mentees across the country. But the important aspect of that, 45 mentees across the country. But the important aspect of that, 45 mentees across the country. But the important aspect of that, 45 mentees across the country. But the important aspect of that, 45 mentees across the country. But the important aspect of that number one agent, and my assistant is actually number two that I feed deals to, is that 75% of our transactions are coming from the work that we do with residential agents. One of the things that I coach is disruptive discipline. Brent and others will talk about Tony Robbins. He says that the key to success in his experience is hunger. And I unfortunately disagree with that a little bit, because hunger without discipline will keep you hungry. Discipline is the key to it. In my opinion, you cannot be hungry, but if you keep showing up every day and grinding, good things will happen. You can sit there and be hungry, and without that discipline, nothing's going to happen. But the force multiplier is disruption. So I coach disruptive discipline. Doing something different, a different narrative, a different approach, a different audience is where the magic starts to occur. And EXP is based in disruption. I mean, that's our foundation. And I really encourage people to look for that. And that's one of the things that we do with and for the realty agents.
Beautiful. Yes. And with that disruption, right? Like that's where you get the extreme growth, right? Like there's other people that have seen EXP's model and they're like, oh, that worked really well. Let's do that. Right. But so now it's not like, I mean, there's the epics, there's the real, there's the etc. But what's your value proposition, right? Like, how are we going to add massive value? It's kind of like Uber or Lyft. I've never heard somebody show up and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a Lyft. Like, they might order a Lyft, but they're still saying Uber from a branding perspective and stuff like that, right?
Just like Xerox, right? For those that, I don't know if that still counts for anybody knows what that means anymore, but that Xerox is that language deal you're referring to.
Or jacuzzi, right? Like a jacuzzi, like, oh yeah, I got a jacuzzi. No, you don't. You have a hot tub, right? Like, because jacuzzi is a brand of a hot tub and stuff here. And that's where you get that branding. And there's a reason why we're widening the gap, because other people are trying to figure this out. They're going through these learning curves and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. And in my career, I was recruited by all the big companies for decades. I've only had one W-2 job in my life at Domino's Pizza for about 8 days in high school, and I had to figure it out the rest of my life. But they recruited me to the big houses and then tried to sell some franchises in the commercial world. And then this EXP thing came up, and I've been recruited by what I call copycats. And I sat down and talked to him, and it was phenomenal, because the brass at these other companies that have come up with, different models, which I liken to that Ben Stiller movie where he picks up the hitchhiker with a 5-minute abs and comes up with a 4-minute abs. It's like, no longer does this work. It's, what's least expensive. But anyway, I sat down with them, and I'm talking about founders, and they're trying to recruit. And I said, well, you guys don't have a commercial division. Oh yeah, we do commercial. I said, no, you don't have a commercial brokerage. NAR, National Association of Realtors, has an all or none mandate, which states that if the broker is a member of NAR, then everybody has to be. And if the broker is not, then nobody can be. That is the reason that EXP has 2 brokerages in all 50 states, because it is very difficult, if not impossible, to do commercial at scale when you're a realtor for a whole bunch of reasons. That's why nobody at CBRE, Cushman, Colliers is a realtor or a member. And these guys actually had no clue. They did not know that. And then they hit me, 2 of them hit me up and say, hey, do you want to take this on for us and partner up? And, for me to go find 50 different brokers to open up 50 brokerages across the United States, that's a phenomenal task that I'm not interested in, and gives us at EXP an enormous advantage in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, as we start, I know that you have never sold a residential home in your life, right?
Scares the hell out of me. No.
And so we'll so we can add some value to the agents and stuff here. Where do you think agents are leaving money on the table right now? Where's the biggest opportunity for agents that they're glossing over there, that they're not looking at, Paul?
Well, I don't think I know, because as I said, this is the proof of concept is way over. In my I discovered the two truths long ago, and that is that in my 40 years in commercial real estate, there's two things that virtually everybody I've ever dealt with has in common. Number one is that they live in a house. And I say virtually everybody because there's two guys I know that live on very big boats, but almost all of them, whether it's a tenant, a developer, or owner, they all live in houses. And by virtue of that commonality, they have a relationship with a residential realtor. And that relationship is usually way more intimate and personal than what we achieve on the commercial side, which is an enormous advantage. So these opportunities are literally right in front of them. And, coaching football for decades, there's the analogy I use as a receiver. NFL receiver does not catch a catchable pass for only two reasons. One is greed, and the other is fear. Greed because they're thinking about the dance they're going to do in the end zone and they take their eye off the ball, and then fear because they're going to get hammered as they come across the middle and they take their eyes off the ball. Same applies, in my opinion, with realty agents, residential agents. When they see a commercial opportunity, it's either greed and they're going to try to covet it and do it themselves, which I could give you lists of just horror stories, or they just say, oh, I don't do commercial, and they walk the other way because they're scared of it. Taking those blinders off and taking advantage of those relationships with just a couple questions. I mean, at the baseline, and we do training for free for realty agents, and it's not about me, it's about EXP and our whole platform and helping all of these agents. At a baseline, every realty agent, with every interaction with every client, past, present, future, should at least ask, do you have any commercial needs that we can help you with? It is, and my analogy is, if you're fishing and you're allowed to fish with two fishing poles, you've got one in the water baited up and you've got the other pole sitting in the boat with bait on the hook, and it's in the boat. I mean, it is stupid to not throw that hook in the water and give it a shot. Tom Daves is a great example of that in action. Do you guys all know who Tom Daves? Do you know who Tom Daves is, Larry?
I do, yes.
Yeah. Again, never sold a house in my life, so I don't understand that. But he was, and correct me if I'm wrong, number one agent on the planet for like 7 years with Keller Williams or Remax, one of those red things. He sat down for one of my talks, and front row, taking copious notes, and an incredible story. He didn't take any of my little classes or anything, but 2 days later, he goes to a listing appointment, and he's been in the business, I think 50 years, kind of thing. He gets the listing signed, and for the first time in his 50-year career, once it's signed, he says, hey, do you guys have any commercial needs that we can help you with? And the response was, well, yeah, we're thinking about selling one of our warehouses, Tom. Do you handle commercial real estate? And Tom's response was, absolutely, we do. My team and I do a bunch of commercial. Get me the address and we'll get our thoughts together and get back to you. literally, this one was an anomaly, but it was less than a month later. We had it listed and sold, and he got a referral fee for 24 grand. And as Tom pointed out, he equated the 3 minutes of effort, which was less than that, to achieve this, which was a $480,000 an hour pay scale for the check that he got.
Yeah. So just that one little script, and I put it in there, guys, that we can help you with. You guys don't have to be this expert person, but you guys are like, some of you guys are closing 60, 70, 80 deals a year at this point in time. Now, like Paul, like, so somebody says yes. What do they do next? Like, do they reach out to you? Like, what? So somebody says yes, we do. Like, what's next? Like, what do they do next? Right? Like when they're using that script.
Yeah, well, another thing that I coach too, whether sports or business, is proactive versus reactive. You want to be proactive. So, and that's part of the training that we do is in advance, get yourself aligned with somebody, and you know where you're going to dish that thing off. As I say in sports, know what you're going to do with the ball before you get the ball, regardless of what the sport is. Same here. Know what you are going to do with the lead before you do it. As a default, I'm happy to help anybody. I'm easy to find. And I'm licensed in, I think, like 13 states, and I've got people all over the country. But if I don't have somebody for where they are, I'm on the National Agent Advisory Council, and I can get them hooked up right away to make something happen for it.
Okay, beautiful. And guys, I just dropped Paul's email address in there and stuff as well. But I just introduced you to. Were you able to connect with Tyler by any chance about the project in Houston?
I think we're playing phone tag or email tag on it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because he had
we did talk, and I think we're circling back on it.
Okay. Yeah. So like I knew this call was coming up, and Tyler works another full-time job. Like he's a newer agent and stuff like that. Has a $12 million listing opportunity. Now,
I'm sorry, data center. Yes, absolutely. Yes. We did talk, and I ran through the numbers and told him what he needed to do there. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that's it, guys. It's just about helping each other and you guys not leaving money on the table at this point in time, because we have a commercial division, right? We have referral agents. You can, like, if Paul's available and it's in his area or one of his states, great. If not, like, he will connect you guys with that. But this commercial side of things is untapped. How many commercial agents does EXP have currently?
711.
How many do you think they should have, Paul?
We should have, in my opinion, in the 20-25,000 range. The egos in this business are substantial. I would venture guess, if I polled everybody on here, that 90% plus are going to say that they've probably had a negative interaction with a commercial agent, because they are literally trained at the globals to not return phone calls to realtors and not interact because there's too much liability and problems, which I hope they keep up, because it removes the competition. I mean, when I return a realtor's call, they're sort of blown away, and it makes it a lot easier for us. But yeah, and to that point, the co-sponsoring side, or even exposing them to the commercial opportunities, is again a differentiator for sure. I had, the week before last, I had 41 co-sponsor videos, and 40 of them signed up, and probably half of them were residential agents. And the key was, as all of them put it, I don't pitch this thing. I just tell my story of where I was, where I've come to, and what we do with these residential agents in the commercial space, and literally 40 of the 41 were converted and signed up. So it's even for residential agents to give them this, if they have, like I just talked to a large brokerage back in New York yesterday for somebody, and I'm talking 2,000 agent kind of thing. I explained it, and their response was, you know what, this is the first time we've never been pitched. And the commercial aspect, even though they were solely residential, was really resonating with them as far as a differentiator and something that they could add to their tool belt and their agents' ability to generate income.
Beautiful. So you're actively, growing your group, you're co-sponsoring and stuff with other people. So, if agents here on this call ran into people that had some commercial interest and stuff like that, like, are you open to helping bring those people on and setting up, like, could they reach out to you to help and figure out how we bring those people on and all share in the wins together? Is that something that you're open to?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is not a quid pro quo, meaning if there's not a place in there for me to co-sponsor, that's fine. I'm passionate about this platform, which is hysterical because I told them to leave me the hell alone for 5 years. The only negative about this that really irritates me is that I'm relatively old and I don't have the runway to take advantage of it. So for the younger kids, especially in the commercial world, their lives are diametrically opposed in 10 years if they make this decision. One of my kids that I coached ended up at another global brokerage, didn't listen to me, and he brought in solely on his own efforts. And this is really important because in residential attraction, you're talking marginal benefits. Now you've got competing concepts and things like that. So this is really important to understand. Commercial is like 50 years behind residential. This kid, Dom, he cold called and secured and closed a deal all on his own. And the commission check to Marcus was $2.5 million, not the deal, but the check. His cut of that as an associate for the first 4 years, it's a 5% on the 50-50 split. So he got $71,000 out of the 2.5 and change. And as I explained to him, Dom, hey, if you listened to me, you would have 2.5 because you would have capped and iconed in one fell swoop. And it's life-changing to these kids entering the commercial world. But they serve some really good Kool-Aid over there with some fancy suits and get a shiny watch, and they're all set and playing real estate.
Wow, that is crazy. Now, do you believe that on the commercial side, we have the ability to coach and train and teach agents how to get into the commercial side? Because that's I think that's why a lot of people go to the Marcus and Milich apps, like, oh, you're going to learn from us. And as much as I do, like, they're just sitting there, right? Like, they still have to drum up their own business and stuff. So how do we set agents up to teach them how to get into the commercial space on our side?
Yeah. And again, it goes to that disruptive discipline aspect. It's two of the things that really resonate when people call me about this. They're making a decision, either asking me to mentor them or to go to EXP Commercial or another platform. Is number one, the fallacy of specialization in commercial is another form of Kool-Aid that the globals sell. And that means that they pigeonhole their agents at CBRE, Cushman, Colliers, Marcus, all those big companies, into property type, deal structure, and geography, which means that, Larry, you can be a light industrial leasing agent south of this freeway. And if your aunt had a multifamily or an office building, you can't touch it. It is so limiting that when I tell people I don't believe in it, and I tell them where this came from, it's an eye opener, and you can see the relief because they're told they've got to pick who they are. Now, I tell them, if your network is such that you know a lot of people in hospitality, you may want to spend more time there, but to say yes only to hospitality and no to a mini storage, for example, is just a fool's errand, in my opinion. The other thing is that I have never made a cold call in my life. It is a fascinating thing. And it's sort of like, David Goggins and mental and physical calluses. God bless. I mean, it builds character to get yelled at and hung up on. And I've got a unique position because I've been a developer for so long, and I do, for instance, a lot of development work for Dutch Bros Coffee. So on average, I probably get, I don't know, 5 cold calls from the globals every day, and emails and texts and all of that. And it's virtually the same exact script, regardless of what company they're with. And a lot of people find identity in how many cold calls they make. I made 100 today or whatever, regardless of the efficacy. And I had one kid that wanted me to mentor him, and I, forgive me, but I don't remember whether it's 200,000 or 100,000, but either way, it was ridiculous. He was so proud that him and his team had made 200,000 cold calls in a 12-month period. And I'm looking for my calculator going, how many minutes how is that even friggin' possible? But instead I asked him, well, how did that work out? And he said, well, we almost got a $65 million multifamily deal in Southern California. And I'm like, you almost got it? What, how many deals did you guys do? And the answer was 0. He was so proud of the effort, but the efficacy of the effort didn't have any meaning. So when I remove that cold calling aspect, and as far as our strategies, and we have a couple of them, as I said, primarily I'll cold call residential agents if that's a cold call, and explore the opportunity to show them how to expand their business. But that's the extent of it, building mutually beneficial symbiotic relationships instead.
Man, that is beautiful on that side. So if agents, wanted, so there's this huge opportunity. We have 711 commercial agents. We should be at 20,000 at this point. Like, what should people say? How do people talk to commercial agents? How are we going to get them to break this sales wall down to even talk to an icon like yourself? How do you suggest like we even start that conversation with a commercial agent?
Don't.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different world. What you want to do is, and actually, Brent, does everybody know Brent on here?
Everybody should know Brent Gove. He's been on this mastermind call and stuff.
Okay.
People in his inner circle and stuff here. So yes, most people do.
Okay, Brent and I we just did a new video yesterday for this exact reason. We had a previous one, but we just updated it. And it's the commercial model explained. And then there's another interview that I did with a coach out of, I don't even know where he is, New York. And what it really does is, and this isn't about me, what Brent and I did in this other one, but it's an organic way to expose the platform to commercial agents, because it's a different language. And God bless Brent, but he's not really going to attract an agent from CBRE or Marcus. It's just a different approach and stuff. So what we've found, back to my point about not being pitched versus storytelling, is that Brent just interviewed me on my story, and we explain my pathway to it and everything. So my advice is, grab that video from Brent and say, hey, you should check this out, this interview with this. And commercial developer will grab the attention of commercial agents when they say commercial agent, commercial
from yesterday.
Commercial developer this interview, and you pass it on to them or watch it with them. And it's kind of interesting because this year is a really kind of the cherry on top, because we closed it off with, Brent asked the question, how has it worked out? And I say, as this year is an example, in the first 11 days of my year, I capped and I iconed within 45 or 60 days. So I actually pay nothing to be here. And for a commercial agent that's on a 50-50 split or less, that will catch their attention and garner more conversation.
Beautiful. Jeff Kelly, I'm assuming that you guys will get that recording as part of the inner circle. If you could get that to me, we'll make sure that we put that in like the weekly newsletter and stuff like that for other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's the commercial model explained.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Hi, Paul.
Hi, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
What's up there is probably the old one though, but it's Rob just sent the new one over. They got it changed because we got a new logo, but it should be repopulated, I think, shortly.
Beautiful. Guys, I want to, this has been just fascinating, right? Like so many opportunities for you guys to lean into commercial to capture additional business. Like, again, a $24,000 referral check, right? Like a lot of agents would love to see that on just a commission check, because of that price point. So there's money that we're leaving on the table there. This is an untapped market in the commercial real estate space as well, to be able to talk to more. And, we have partners like Paul that will help us, that will talk to them, etc. Anybody have questions, comments, concerns regarding anything that they got to get? Stephen, talk to us, man. What kind of question do you have for Paul? You got to unmute your mic, my friend.
Still muted, Stephen.
Yeah, big finger, small iPhone type thing.
Hey, I have such a problem on the iPhone to turn my mute off. I struggle with that.
All right, you work on that, Stephen. I'm going to go to Lawrence King until you figure out how to unmute, and then we'll come back to you. Lawrence King, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, Paul, thank you for this time. Dusty Bates says you're a rock star, by the way, just FYI.
Oh,
and he's been a huge contributor to me learning more about the commercial space. What would you say for someone that's just now transitioning from residential to commercial? What's the lowest entry that you feel like product they should go into first?
Here's my advice is that it's not about products. And I'll be very clear, my position in commercial real estate, they are all boxes with the intent to make income, whether it's multifamily where people sleep, industrial where they make widgets, retail where they sell widgets. They're all boxes and it's all about math. It's not that complex. So the focusing on a product type is less important than we are number one in the relationship people business and number two in the real estate business. And when people invert that, they get in trouble. I've got kids that I coach that have advanced degrees from Ivy League schools that probably know way more than I do about, the analytics and underwriting, but they don't have people skills and they don't have a network, and I can't help them with that. They have all the knowledge. I coached for a long time, and I have a number of professional athletes and ex-professional athletes that know nothing about real estate, but they have a network. And if you team up with the right people, you can prosecute any transaction, but it starts with that people side of it. In fact, if you go on my website, I do a whole book list. None of the books that I suggest are related to real estate. It's all relationship and other aspects like who, not how, the gap in the game. 10x is easier than 2x. All of those type of things are so much more important than the X's and O's of commercial. Does that help, Lawrence?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I appreciate this, Paul. Last thing is from like people at Marcus and CBRE. Most of these guys don't have splits, or even the juniors, I think, are at 50-50 splits. What is the highest split that you've seen from like somebody at Marcus? Like, what's the norm for a split that as a crushing producer over there in commercial?
It's horrific. In fact, I'll tell you this real quick. The reason that my brain opened to being wrong on what I thought EXP was is that I sold a shopping center, and my check on that was $327,000, and the opposing broker, his check ended up on my desk opened, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I called up Craig and I said, good news, bad news. Your check is on my desk and it's opened. I apologize, but where the hell did all your money go? And it was like $142,000, less than 50% of what mine was. And Craig had been in the business for 35 years. So for the most part, those splits are horrific at any of those identified brokerages. And they are constantly removing staff and amenities that would have usually attracted these guys over there. But it's just the perception of this funnel of business that comes from those names. But I couldn't give you a figure. I other than that one and like Dom and a few of the guys that work for me. I mean, typically it is a 50-50 kind of proposition for them.
Is that for the juniors or more of the senior?
Yeah, it depends on their team structure, but the team structure then splits after the company is done taking their piece of it. So you will usually have a team lead, and then you'll have 3 or 4 guys or gals under them that split it up. In Dom's case, he gets 5% for the first 4 years and then 10% for the next 4 years. So it is onerous and antiquated across the board. It sums it up.
Beautiful. Anything else, Lawrence? I see Stephen Moaning is off of
Yes, yes. I figured it out.
All right. Talk to us.
Yes. Appreciate you bringing this to the group here, Larry. And it's good meeting you, sir. In commercial, I've been with EXP now just for a year, and for this year, I've really looked into commercial. And EXP has a mentorship program. Just wanted to check if you're a part of that program.
Yeah. I was actually mentor of the year this year, and I've got mentees all over the country.
Right. So that program, what I was the understanding is that you have to move from residential over to commercial, and you have to do like 6 deals in that. So is there any way to still keep the residential side?
Yeah, you know what, Stephen, hit me up, and like I do calls every morning, and then I have 2 actually at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'll drop this in here. I do a Zoom call for mentees and residential agents.
Right.
And you can jump in there and learn. And I've got like a 6-class series. I don't charge for anything that I can get you connected to that'll give you the foundational understanding of commercial and give you a head start on it. But I can definitely help you with that idea and that plan. I would not by any means go cold turkey and switch lanes. We can kind of help. It's like merging onto the freeway. You don't want to go straight to the fast lane because it's probably not going to go well.
Well, one last question. Do you work off market properties or just straight listings that you work?
Both, but honestly, I laugh at when people say they only want off market because it's the numbers, and there are projects and properties that are on market that make sense, and most of the stuff in the commercial realm that's off market, people will say, "Yeah, I'll sell it if they'll write this check for it," and they're not the deals, but people get caught up in that term. But yes. Like on my team, it's pretty diverse. Ron Vole, for example, he was the head of real estate for In-N-Out Burger for 25 years. He's on my team and works with me. So we've got a lot of resources and perspective in the arena that we can help people with.
All right, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
All right, wonderful. Mr. Patron, talk to us, my friend.
Hey, Paul, how are you? Mike
Good.
Patron here. Larry, thanks so much for this as usual. You're always bringing the movers and shakers on, which is always awesome. I've been in commercial for a while now, Paul, and wanted to maybe touch base with you a little bit more on that. I live in Sarasota, Florida, and really there's some Marcus and Millichaps and CB Richard Ellis here, but it's nothing. It's getting bigger and growing. This place has just boomed over the since COVID's been going on. They kind of overbuilt a lot of things. I do self-storage, I do syndications, I do things like that. So I'd maybe like to talk with you at some point soon and find out a little bit more about your program and see how it works, because I think there's a huge need for that, obviously, in the area that I'm in right now specifically. It's boomed like absolutely insane here. So
yeah. And I'm licensed in Florida too.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely have to talk about that. So
yeah,
I reached out to you. I sent you an email just recently. So let's talk. And I'm very interested to,
recently, like before this?
No, just recently. Just now.
Okay.
Just now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I do is respond to people. So if it came in yesterday and I didn't see it, something's wrong. So
no, sounds good. Great meeting you, but we'll talk more for sure. I want to
absolutely. I'm easy to find.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yep.
And Gabby, what can we answer for you here today?
Yeah.
Gabby?
Good morning, everyone. Just a quick question. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can now, yes.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, actually, I've been in real estate for 1.5 years, and one of my first deals was commercial multi-unit. So I've been focusing on that specific type of asset. And then, so my question is, I don't know if you maybe answered this question earlier, but I'm just curious, do you recommend that we focus on one type of asset or basically just, different types? Because right now, like I have an auto repair, commercial real estate listing, and then obviously I focus on multi-unit properties and also industrial. So is there any specific type asset that you recommend that we focus on? If we have to focus on one, right? Or if we can just do a few across the board.
Like I said, they're all boxes and they're all made to make money. So the isolation of product type and the demand to pick something. I mean, if I told Larry he could only sell 4-bedroom, 3-bath houses on the south side of whatever highway, and he couldn't sell a 5.4 or a 3.2, nobody in the residential world would ever accept that. But that's what they do in the commercial world. Now, you don't want to get out over your skis and get in trouble, but at the end of the day, it's not that complicated. It's just different, as I say, than residential. But let a specialty find you because of your network and your people. Just don't. And you can focus, on lead generation. But if somebody walks in and has a mini storage, you call me and we figure out how to get a mini storage done for you, or you call somebody. That's the beauty of EXP. There's so many people, and Jeffrey Peldon, and you're in California, is the designated managing broker, and he's just a wealth of knowledge as well. So don't say no to anything, in my opinion.
Sounds
Did
great.
that help?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and
Yes, it
one
did.
thing I'd
Thank you.
like to your point, Gabby, and this is a huge takeaway. I do a lot of work in the 1031 exchange space. I get nervous anytime anybody says they're an expert about anything, because that means they don't think they need to learn anymore. But I've done an extraordinary amount of that since the 80s. Like right now, I probably have 12 or 14 exchanges going on. For residential agents, one of your targets to look for are investors that have single family rentals, duplexes, triplexes, multifamily, that have held them for a long time and are just burned out, especially in California, where the laws are stacked against them. And they are usually not getting much of a return, and they're burned out. And we can show them a path to sell that pool of houses and exchange into what we call a single tenant net lease investment, a long-term net lease investment. And I'll give you just one case study. I had Rosemead, there was an apartment complex down there, and we looked at the owner's financials and performance. We ended up selling that apartment complex that was absolutely killing them and moved them into a 25-year Chick-fil-A lease in Nashville, Tennessee, and we increased their income by 58%. So the short version of that is that we eliminated all of the problems and the phone calls, and we increased the consistent net income by 58%. So if you mine your clientele for people in that situation of homes or rentals and they're just burned out, we can make literally magic happen for those people. And what it does for you, it doubles up, because you show these people a compelling reason to sell these assets, be it 10 homes or whatever, that you now have generated listings on, and then you can participate on the referral for what we call the up leg on the replacement property. Hopefully that wasn't too high level, but yeah, we see
actually I heard about that. Yeah, that's also triple net investment, right, Paul?
Correct.
Or is that different? Okay,
nope.
Awesome. Yeah.
Usually STNL is single tenant net lease is triple net. Yes. Like Chick-fil-A or Chipotle or Starbucks, whatever.
Exactly. I was just talking to an investor yesterday, and he's the same situation. He's just tired of, not being able to rent these properties out, and he's, already retired. So I told him about the triple net investment strategy. And so he's very interested, but yeah, it's a matter of building relationships and yeah.
And if you ever need help with that, I've got spreadsheets and, happy to help you land that, whatever you need. I don't need to be part of the transit, just to be clear. I'm not pitching myself, but if you need me to jump on a call so you can land something like that, I'm more than happy to help you.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, that's huge, Paul. Thank you so much for just kind of the openness and stuff like that, because I think it helps. This mastermind is agents helping agents, right? And it's about building this community of like-minded individuals that want to grow something together and stuff there. So, man, I truly appreciate you jumping on here. We are at the top of the hour, guys. I will make sure in the weekly newsletter, this recording will be there. I will make sure that some of the links to Paul's website, his contact information and stuff like that. Whether you need his help, whether you just need a referral in your area, etc. For those of you guys that are going to Cabo, like he will be on stage with a like dedicated talk track and stuff there, just adding value and stuff to people. So super excited to actually meet you in person there, Paul.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being on, man. I'm super grateful. If you ever need anything from me, if I can ever help you, please let me know, and we'll continue to build this thing together.
Absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity. And as I said, anybody reach out anytime. I'm easy to find.
All right, guys, have a wonderful week. Go out there and crush it. If you need anything, call, text, or email me. My favorite call of the week has concluded for today, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Paul.
Bye.